I didn't know that. It's pretty cool. What a good use of engineering resources, right? Making games and Google Meet,
I mean,
right?
they just need to copy the dinosaur game and embed it into Google Meets, right?
I guess
It's
yeah,
a good dinosaur game. It's a dinosaur game.
that's a game, yeah, yeah. Just on a different UI, same logic. But okay, hey, it's 5:03, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start. We have John and Jawi with us today, and our very, very, very smart and super handsome Christopher, who is our speaker for today. So just a quick intro about Christopher. I met Christopher actually a few weeks ago, and I saw this guy, and he's one of those guys who was working in the corporate, but always thinking about entrepreneurship, always thinking about doing business. So eventually, my business partner Ming actually pulled him out and started a venture together with him, right? So Christopher has a background in engineering, and he even has an MBA, so he's quite well rounded. I believe he does some coding and he's very good at maths. But he came from University of Oxford, and he worked in Hong Leong Bank as a project manager for the past couple of years of his career. So today he'll be sharing his journey, his thoughts process as an engineer, as a product guy, and as an entrepreneur. And today's session isn't going to be about coding, not so much about software engineering, but really more from the project manager or from the business side of view. So yeah, Christopher, feel free to take the wheel from here.
All right. Thanks, Derek, for the nice introduction. Wow, you sell me so high already. Now I have pressure to deliver. Okay. So, hi, guys. I think maybe let's start off a bit basic. Okay. So, actually, right, before all these things happen, right, uh, I'm just your typical good boy from your neighborhood, lah. Okay. Nobody would, so like all of you here, um, I'm from okay, so basically I'm from Kedah. Okay, so like all of you here, I'm just average, right? I like to play cards, play computer games. I grew up being very average. Okay, as you can see, I'm not the genius, inborn genius that Derek claims to be. In fact, I have evidence here. Okay, I recall my teacher who issued this told my mom, okay, that Christopher is so quiet in class that I don't even know whether he existed or not, like whether he comes to class on that day or not. It was like that average. Okay, so yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't really have a choice to stay boring forever. So after SPM, right, I was nominated to go and join the national service, PLKN, for the Malaysia version, for 3 months. So as you can see, back then, I mean, I'm very like thin and scrawny, right? So when there was one exercise where we have to do this obstacle challenge, and we had to climb a 6-foot wall, something like that, the one that is in the picture. And unfortunately, due to my weak upper body strength, okay, I did not manage to climb over that wall and fell down and injured my brachial plexus. So basically, it's like a shoulder injury. Okay, and the reason why the name sounds so fancy, right, is because it's a nerve related issue. It's not so much of a bone issue like shoulder dislocation. Basically, the bone, the deformed bone, basically stretched my nerves, and it resulted in me wearing a cast for like this for like what are seeing in the picture for the next 1 year of my life. So after the injury, I woke up in the hospital, seeing my mom, holding my hand, but I couldn't really feel my hand because it was like numb. It was just numb, right? Like when people touch it, I couldn't feel it. And then I soon realized that I couldn't even move it. So so after that we met some doctors around, and I was told that there is no 100% chance of recovery. And also, and most cases, where when doctors see patients have this sort of scenarios, right, it's usually coming from motorcycle accidents. So the recovery success rate has been very, very low. So yeah, so basically, right, you can see here on my right hand side, on the right hand diagram, right, that is a picture of my handwriting, and I'm a right-hander, so that is my dominant handwriting. You can see that I barely have enough strength to control the pencil, and it's very light. And what the handwriting on the top was my left hand. So basically I was left-handed during that 1 year of my life. So I would say that that is the actually the deepest the downtime in my life. Okay, and I was very depressed because you know what, you can't really, when you meet people, okay, and you have to like shake your hand and introduce yourself, right? And I'll be the guy that's going to show uh, send out hand out my left hand and say, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Chris. And then people are like, hey, why are you using your left hand instead of right hand? So rude. And I'm like, oh no, the right hand is, I can't move it, it's like it's half it's basically paralyzed. So yeah, I was very down in that time, during that time. So I until I came across Nick Voice. Okay, so in 2013, he gave a talk in Sunway, and I attended that talk. Um, and that talk and this guy literally changed my life from here onwards. Because in that speech, like one part of his speech, he quoted this quote: "If I fail, I try again and again and again and again." So um, then this guy literally inspires me, right? Like, here I am, I have two extra legs compared to him, one extra hand compared to him. Okay. And this guy is inspiring so many people compared to me, to what I'm doing now. I'm like, hey, come on, I still got at least three more limbs than him, right? I could have done something better, right? So from there onwards, okay, I get myself together. Okay. I attended my physiotherapy more diligently. I also, put more effort into studying harder, because you know what? If I can't do anything that is related to mobility, hey, the head's intact, right? Like this guy, his mouth's intact. So I'm going to make use of whatever assets that I have left, right? Which is my brain, my mouth, and whatsoever. So fortunately, after 1 year, right? Okay, you can see that my handwriting recover. I gained back most of my strength. Okay, but you can see that the dexterity is still not there yet. But at this point of life, right, I'm already like ambidextrous. Okay, it means I can use two hands to write during the exam time. So yeah, the progress inspired myself, and I kind of have a belief that I was on the right track already, and I keep up my momentum. So what I didn't expected was during uni applications, right? Okay, I was one of those students who are like, you know what, I'm just going to settle for UK university on average. As long as it's UK university, I'm fine already, right? But as part of the application process, right, for UK, okay, you have to submit, like, you can submit up to 5 unis in one go. And back then, right, my friend told me like, hey, Chris, if you don't apply, if you don't maximize out your spaces, right, okay, then it's kind of wasted, right? So why not just, put one slot as Oxford or Cambridge? Okay, if you get it, you try the interview experience. At least it's a different application experience, right? So I told him, yeah, why not? Sure, let's go ahead, right? And then that is another history in my life already. I never expected that I ended up all the way until the final stage of the interview. Me, someone who doesn't have any Olympiad mathematics thing, someone who just grew up average. I don't have like extra maths tuition or or arithmetic calculations, all this stuff, right? And yeah, I got the letter of offer from the University of Oxford. So with that, right, okay, then it goes down to what sort of courses should I take in Oxford, right? So back then, this was around the age of 2013, okay, the time of 2013. So I look around, I ask myself, hey, what are the most profitable companies around us? So in 2013, FANG stocks like Facebook, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they were all on the rise already, right? And I realized that, you know what? Um, hey, tech companies are like the direction to go. Okay. But I did not choose computer science specifically because I was not sure that, if I do, because I was hesitating because, some things may need hardware, right? And hardware is more towards the engineering side. So I decided to say, you know what, let's do something that is more general, okay? And then we see how it goes from there. So in the University of Oxford, right, our courses are engineering science. We don't do a specialization like what we have here in most unis. Okay, so first 2 years of my life, right, was general engineering. So think of Monday, electrical engineering, Tuesday, mechanical, the Wednesday, chemical, Thursday, civil, okay, etc., etc. So I spent my first 2 years learning up general engineering, and then in my third year and fourth year, right, my specialization courses, I decided to specialize into the hardware and software side of engineering, okay, as well as taking up the paper in business and management, okay. And this is where I think I have another realization already. So although like building products, right, like the bridges, this is a radio and this is a game, right, okay, was quite fun, okay. But what inspired me the most, right, during my 4 years duration there was the business course. So as part of our final year project, we are required to build a product, okay, using the engineering theories that we have learned. And then after we build this product, right, then we have to plan a business model around this product to sell this product. So, and this is the part that got me really, really interested in the course. Like, I was so into it, right? Okay. So from there onwards, right, I went, I asked myself, right, hey, you know what's next for me then? Like, do I want to be a full-fledged engineer, or do I want to be something more? And then I think I decided to go more towards go more on the width rather than the breadth, because I felt like if I were to do a specialization, I couldn't really compete now, because I have spent 2 years of my life doing a general engineering course while everyone has specialized into their respective engineering domain. So I played to my strength. I went for job interviews, and then there was this particular interviewer that asked me, what's my next step? And I tell him, hey, in uni, I learned about how to do a product, how to build a product. I plan how to do a business, but I have zero execution experience. Okay. And then he's like, yeah, I have a lot of projects here. Okay. And I'm doing and I'm trying to transform banking, making banking more digital. So since our meets net, so he managed to convince me, and that's how I landed my first job in the digital product development. So prior to this interview, right, I had no idea that this sort of role existed, right? Like I didn't know that like an engineer could like work on like project roles, okay, as a project manager. So so in the past 3 years of my life in the banking atmosphere, I have mainly specialized in launching digitalizing the products of the bank. So basically, right, whatever products that they have, okay, I try to make it digital and then put it online so that people can self-purchase, do it themselves without coming to the branch. So here are the few products that I done, like credit card insurance, travel insurance, okay. And of course, the biggest one was basically account onboarding. Okay, so basically, right, by leveraging on the what we call the electronic know your customer (EKYC) technology, right, which involves AI. It involves scanning your IC. It involves scanning your face, doing biometric facial recognition, liveness test. All these tech aspects, right, are what enable this process to be, enable the customers to be able to apply themselves online, because we are now doing verification using technology. Okay, and these technology components, right, AI and whatever, was something that I picked up during uni. That's why I was thrown to this project. So So the guideline was officially published by Bank Negara, our central bank, in June 2020. And by October 2020, we have launched our so-called MVP to the public already. Okay, so that was a very, very rushed timeline. So when we first launched, okay, the we have around 30% conversion rate. Okay. However, through the next few months where I spent with I looked into the problems, I analyzed the data, okay, and came up with both system enhancement plans and also process re-optimization plans. Okay. So by doing these two, we managed to double the number in like 1 year's time from there on. And that gave me a another revolution. Like every time when people talk about, hey, you want to go from offline to online, all right, people always think that, hey, as long as I find somebody to do all the coding, that should be done, that should be ready, right? But what I realized was there was a gap, okay, in terms of mapping out what is the existing process, okay, what is the existing journey, customer journey versus the to be customer journey, okay. And I realized that this was something that it was only unique to me, like only it was mainly me in the team that can do this. So I draw a lot of this sort of flow charts, okay, the current flow chart versus the to be flow chart. I take this flow chart everywhere and I present to many different stakeholders to get their buy-in, you know. And after they got their buy-in, I take the same flow chart, I bring it to IT, okay, and they build it according to this process flow. And hence, right, my projects relative to my peers, right, they always went on more smoothly because these flow charts, right, have already, number one, set the expectations from the business users, and number two, it's so straightforward that IT can understand the flow, and when they code it right, okay, then they can make the correct preparations, like you don't need to keep changing, taking a look, and then keep publishing so many different versions of the code. It really saves the time from the IT side. So as such, right, okay, I see the gap, okay, and I see that processes are actually in the core of every company, okay, whether they like it or not. And hence, right, okay, I co-founded Aventech. I left the bank, okay, quit my job, left the bank, and co-founded Aventech, which is a process consulting and business automation, business workflow automation company. So I'm working with Ming now to build a new product, okay, so that for SMEs, so that SMEs can draw all these flow charts in the system, and then after that, right, they can execute the flow chart instead of asking IT to come and code it separate for them, like what big companies are doing now. So um, so basically, right, that's the gist of my life. So if you can see the way my life it has not always been smooth sailing. In fact, I don't have the answers from the very beginning, right? If you ask me like 10 years ago, would I be doing would I be doing process consulting? Would I be, would I want to build a system like this? Would I have the skills to build a system like this? My answer is definitely no. Okay. In fact, I was like most people, like average, clueless, don't know what to do about your future, right? But at each stage of my life, right, there has always been something that bring me forward to the next stage. Okay. And now that when I look back, right, okay, I think this quote from Steve Jobs is very relevant. When I connect the dots looking backward, right, I realize that all of them have been, one way or another, building on each other to where I am today. So I think I know that there's no specific if there's one specific like lesson that I want to share from my side, right, is that don't be afraid to try out stuff, because nobody actually knows what they want from the very beginning. You just try out stuff, have the courage to take the first step, okay, and then things will just unfold out from there onwards. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor back to Derek for his Q&A.
Dude, awesome stuff, man, Christopher. I didn't know about your life story so in depth. Thanks for sharing, man. And I'm sure these guys over here and anyone who's watching this in the future will definitely appreciate what you've just shared, like Christopher. So yeah, I mean, since we're going to Q&A, John, Jawei, and Reishi, hey, welcome in. Feel free to ask any questions that you have since you guys are here live. Christopher will serve you guys and help you guys with any doubts that you have. I think I'll start off with one question, like Christopher, right? So actually, what was the thing that really made you choose to go into the product line instead of anything else? Why do you go into product development? Did you go into it or were you thrown into it?
I chose to go into it. So basically, right, okay, this was the difference between how to say, why I didn't choose a career in IT, but rather as a product. Because I am someone who likes to see things end to end, and I want to see things like I want to see people use it, and I like to see different aspects of it, like the marketing aspects of it, the finance aspects of it, the operations aspects of it. So it's not just the technical aspect of it. So because of my nature that and my how to say of my curiosity about all these different domains, right? That's why I choose to go from a product manager view, because a product role really allows you to view all these things, okay, while you don't need to throw away whatever technical knowledge you have, because whatever technical knowledge I pick up from my engineering course, right, I still apply them when I do the product side.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's the best way to consolidate your knowledge in both tech and business, lah, right? In a
Yes,
product.
right.
What's the minimum viable path you think it takes for someone to break into a product role?
I would say the minimum viable path, there's quite a few. Okay. So in a product role, right, and I think I'm going to zoom into digital products, because I think that is where the trend is going already, right? Okay, more and more things are becoming digital, right? Okay. There's actually two tracks. You can come in from the technical track, and you also can come in from the business track. So if you're coming from a technical track, right, you already know like how to build, like you already know what you already know like roughly how general systems work, right? Like what is an API, how does the blockchain work, okay, how does AI work, okay. And if you are good in that already, all you need to do is to find a business problem to solve, okay. And then if you have a business if people buy you in from there, right, okay, people will just take it today, right. There's no like qualification or a degree for product, okay. It can be literally anyone, as long as you have an understanding of both business and technology. And if you're coming from the business side, vice versa, you're good in business, but you need to know the tech, right? You need to know what is a blockchain, how does blockchain work. If you don't know all this, right, then there's no point in getting a digital product role already.
Exactly. That's correct. Because I think one thing I realized as well, just being on the product side, because I've been on both sides, the product side, the business side, the tech side. I've been on all sides, right? And one thing I realized, Christopher mentioned the thing that I can align with Christopher a lot is this, because my co-founder Ming is more on the technical side as well, and he always thinks, okay, tech is going to solve everything, right? But one thing that I guess Christopher and I we realized is that there is a huge gap in the market here where developers don't know what to do, right? Yes, they can code, which is awesome, right? Which deserves a very good payroll. But the market right now is lacking this pool of talent of people who's able to connect both worlds and be able to think what's needed to onboard users, what's needed to give clear instructions to developers. I remember when I started off as leading products, right, last time for some of the projects we did, I didn't have proper process flow mapped out. I didn't have the whole feature list documented. I didn't have wireframes. I just talked, and it was very hard. It was so not sustainable. So like Christopher mentioned, I think just like you mentioned, some of your other peers were endlessly in that loop of having to manage developers while you just take that little wire flows, go out there, talk and present, and easily everyone understand, right? I think that skill set is very important. So right now people don't have that skill, right? So how can they get that skill? Is it is it something that comes with experience or how?
Okay, I would say that there are definitely, you can definitely start from understanding like BPMN, okay, business process model workflow. But I mean, if you don't want to go into that core, right, then just start with the basic shapes, like the statements. Then after that, act the decision loops, like the diamond thing. Like if you meet this condition, yes, then no, okay. In fact, right, my first version of the flowchart, okay, was just basically I think three shapes: the circle, which is the start and end node, then rectangle for all my statements and activities and events, then after that a diamond shape for all my decision loops. That's it. Okay. And I recall my mentor at work, right? Okay, made me redo the flow 7 times. It was that hardcore. All right. So after I redid it, by the 7th time, right, I kind of already get the hang. And then that is where after that, I add in more and more variations to it. So
Is
I
this
start,
something?
find a use case, a small use case to start with.
Okay. Is this something that you feel everyone can do regardless of their background?
Definitely, definitely. So in my while I was still working there, right, I came up with an internal training. So I have like an internal training deck that talks about how do you do a project from A to Z, and especially the gathering the user requirements part. So that's where I talk about all these processes. I give them a framework like, these are the questions to ask. Okay, you have to think about the extreme flow. What is the ideal flow? Start with the ideal flow. Then after you think of the exception handling, which is like the set flow. Okay, so you think about set flow from a business point, product run out of stock, for example. Then after that setting from a technical side, internet connection timeout, or or maybe there's an error that was thrown back somewhere else, right? So so basically, right, by putting this together, right, okay, the juniors that came in after me subsequently had a much easier time than me, who was like fiddling around, okay, to when they do their projects.
Okay. Why did you choose to go into business entrepreneurship rather than obviously you get another job elsewhere?
Yeah. So I think one thing that I realized is, if you just get another job elsewhere, right? Okay. It's not going to stay with you forever. Like, for example, I was the product owner of that app back in the bank. Okay. But then it is only valid when I'm with the bank, but it's not valid when I leave the bank, right? And I'm someone who likes to build things and own it, because if I manage to sell something to customers, right, I want to make sure that I'm responsible for making sure that they are continuously happy. Okay, and I want to have the sense of ownership. In a corporate, right? Okay, I may be one day, due to business priorities, I may be relocated to some other projects or some other initiatives already, right? So I'm the kind of like person who likes to build things, grow it, okay, and continue to service it.
I see. Basically, you want to own it for the long term. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Okay. This one is, I think, a very common question that a lot of people may have. How would you differentiate between product management and project management?
Very good question. So I would say project, and the line between project and product is getting more and more blurred. In fact, but I say project management, right? Okay, is the school of thought where you think about timeline, think about managing resources, think about managing stakeholders. Okay, so the famous project triangle about cost, quality, as cost, speed, and quality. Okay, that is more on the project management side. Whereas the product management side, right, is more about what does the customer experience like, what is the processes like, okay, what is the turnaround time like, what is the user requirements, how's the UI UX like. Okay, so today, right, okay, there are more and more roles, okay, looking for someone who has a blend of both project skills and product skills instead of the traditional separate project and product. Because for good say I would say that not everyone, okay, every project manager, okay, so every product manager can be a project manager, but not every project manager can be a product manager, because there's this missing thing. Like, yeah, you can manage stakeholders, you can manage timeline, but when it comes to requirements, right, if you cannot give them out, okay, then that is the missing thing about a product manager.
And I'm guessing that's the hardest part, right? Obviously, the part where you
Yes.
really know something users need, and
That's
it's
why
on you to do something correctly.
that's why it's important to have framework. So throughout the past few years, right, I see workshops popping up here and there about design thinking, where people stresses the importance of thinking from a customer experience, asking the 5 whys, why you're doing this, and trying to see the issue from the customer lens, right? So I think that is one place to start. Okay, yeah, using a framework. But personally, I think that the design thinking framework has some gaps because it's overemphasized on just the customer. Okay, and it doesn't think about your internal resources and your internal system and your bottlenecks internally. So that's why here at Vintech, I'm now working on the framework that brings both the design thinking element plus the company the business operations elements together, okay, to so that product managers will have a proper framework to think about the processes and the user requirements when they deliver the next product.
Okay. What do you think about project management certifications, and do you do things like Agile, Waterfall, Scrum methodology, Scrum Masters? Do you have this kind of implementations?
Yeah. Okay. I would say, right. Okay. These qualifications are definitely good to have. If a company is willing to pay you and say, you know what, I'm paying you to get it. Okay. Definitely go. Don't say no. Okay. Please go. Please go for it. Okay. But if you ask me, right, would I go for the courses myself? Okay, apply for the courses myself, get certified myself, and then use that as an application, as a job application. I will say yes and no. It depends on the company. So I know that some big firms, they are still looking for it. Okay, because they have to be good on paper, right? But I've spoken with some like consulting firms myself. Okay, back when I was still being employed, right? Okay, I asked them this question, and they said that as long as you can demonstrate to us that you have the thought process, okay, we are fine with it, and then we will once you come on board with us, then only we'll train you, we'll give you the certification. So you don't really need to pay to get certified, but you can learn the thought process first.
Yeah. So no, I guess that was two different questions, right? One was more on like certifications. Another one was more on like Agile and Waterfall and
Okay.
Scrum.
Yeah.
So can you walk me through how your the cycle of your work with your developers? Like, how do you talk to them every day? Yeah.
Okay, so initially, right, I done projects both on Waterfall and Agile before. So when it was Waterfall, okay, it was mainly for
Or just give them a quick one-liner. What are the differences between both first?
okay, Waterfall is slow, is clunky. You may miss out a lot of requirements. Agile is more nimble, but you need to manage your resources properly. Otherwise, if things are too flexible, right, then it becomes like it become a never-ending loop of changing here and there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue with your thing just now. Before I broke you off.
Oh no, I was about to just share an illustration because I done both ends of the project before. So when I was on the waterfall model, okay, this was because I don't want we don't it was big, okay, but we don't want we don't want to, because we were still not so sure of what we want to do, okay, and as a result, right, okay, things keep going back to changing the user requirements, which is very messy, and IT folks hate it, right? Because you keep changing whatever that we plan already, right? So after that, I implemented an agile cycle where on a monthly basis, okay, I will have my own product backlog. I'll identify which are the things that I want to build in this month. Take it to the IT team, to the development team, sit down, we scope up the mandates, scope up the deliverables, okay, and then we plan for a mini cycle, a mini period. So my agile period was usually 1 month, okay, and we will release it on a monthly basis. So that makes things more manageable, because especially when you are dealing with a system that has went live, right? You definitely have production issues and bug fixes. So bug fixes are things that comes in unexpectedly, right? So depending on the severity of the bugs and the volume of the bugs, right, you may need to deprioritize, or you need to keep on reprioritizing your feature deliverables. And I think Agile will help you with that.
Okay. How big was the team that you were managing or working with?
Good question. So I think it was around 7 people. So I had two back end. So I got 3 back end, 2 front end, 2 back end, one DevOps, and 1 PM. Like, just the PM is just a technical PM.
Okay, whether he manages technically everything is sound and he checks the code.
Yeah, just check me against my timeline only.
Okay. And so did you have to talk to them every day, or you left it to themselves? You wrote your requirements, they see, they do, and that's it, or do you have to like every day talk to them?
Okay. I don't. I talk to them on a regular basis, but it's not on a scheduled basis. So I schedule a weekly meeting for anything for all the official stuff. Okay, but all the unofficial stuff, right? Okay, I'll just like text them I mean, once if I know what they are working on, it's fine. Okay, so remember the workload that we plan and agree in advance. So I'll follow that framework. If you tell me that, hey, you need 3 working days to do this, okay, you won't hear from me from the next 3 working days. Then at the end of the third working day, I'll be like, hey, how's the progress? So that's how I do it. So I will whatever mandates that you commit, and as long as we agree on it, that is where I will only follow up with you.
What tools do you use to manage that flow?
Okay. Sad to say, okay, because of we can't put too much info. We can't use external tools, so we have to rely on Excel.
Oh, what
So
the?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because no, because unfortunately we were not nobody is sponsoring us to use things like
Oh, what the?
Asana or whatever,
Dude,
right?
how much
So
is that?
yeah, I know, right? So it's been a feedback that we have give management, but
The
uh
Excel does the job, lah. I'm guessing it's good enough if you know what to
it's
do with it.
I mean, it's what I don't like about Excel, right? Is the versioning, because everyone keeps updating the Excel differently, right? So when everyone send it, then as my poor project manager has to do compilation. He's just like an
Oh,
admin,
why can't you use Google Sheets?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. After that, our company wrote out Google Sheets, and we moved
Ah,
on to Google Sheet. But in the beginning of the project, it was
oh my
Excel. Then after I
goodness.
moved on to Google
Tricky.
Sheets, yeah, then I changed it to Google Sheets immediately, because I just can't take it the version conflict. Later I have to search for version 1.0, 1.11, 1.21.
Okay, I'll wrap it up with a few final, very important questions, lah, right? So, Christopher, what is the number one skill? This doesn't have to be related to product management, but after your all these years of experience, what's the number one skill you feel in life everyone should have? For you.
Communication. Okay, so regardless of whether you're in IT or coding, or or even a product role, right? Okay, communication is the main skill. I know a lot of, like, I work with a lot of coders and IT people across the years, right? Okay, and although their technical skills are great, right, it's usually the communication. So I ask myself this question: hey, why do we need project managers, right? Like, why can't IT people just talk to each other? But then you realize that, right? Oh, when people talk to when they don't talk to each other, because they are not because they are not used to, like, coding is usually a very solo work, right? So but because I have all my modules up. This is the way I code. I'm ready. I don't want to go and learn how you code, and I don't want your code to disturb my code when we do merging and everything, right? So but actually, a lot of these things, right, they could have actually settled themselves among themselves, okay, without the need for the project manager to call an official meeting. Okay, and it's the same for the business also. A lot of businesses, right, they also don't talk to each other because of resources and allocation and conflicting KPIs, right? But so I think that when you're in a project, okay, everyone has a mutual goal, okay, and there's no other way except for communication, which can align the whole team together from both business and IT.
Okay, thanks. I think I'm very aligned with you on that, lah. Definitely. So, okay, I think my last question is, so what's next for you? I mean, Christopher, what's your plans moving forward?
What's my time moving for? So I'm going to work on event tech. So like what I mentioned just now, right? Okay, I'm working on a process framework, okay, that can help businesses, okay, to slowly to digitalize their existing processes and execute them. But once I'm done, in concurrent, right? Okay, I'm also working on a process on a framework, okay, on the top framework, okay, for product people, because eventually I will want to groom my team from my side, right? Because I can't go down to the ground and keep servicing everyone. It's not scalable, right? There's only one Christopher, so I need to build an army of Christophers who are good in, like, product design, right? So I'm putting them all out on the framework, working on this framework, and once I'm done and test it, probably start um, setting up courses for this process for this product role courses.
Do you potentially see you working in Sigma School on this?
Yeah, definitely, bro. That's why we're having this chat today, right? To garner an
Yeah.
interest on how many people who have learned coding, and then and
Yes.
then find out that, hey, actually I don't think I want to do coding for and my entire career, right? These are the alternative paths, right? You
Yes,
can do
definitely.
project, product, or even QA, like quality assurance tester.
Definitely. I mean, it's all aligned, right? I think people who chose to join technology has a few goals for me, frankly, and they all are quite related. IT to QA to product, it's all serving, or to UI UX, it's all serving to the same goal of building software, building products, right? It's just what you
Right.
do, but you still get in the loop of seeing you build something from scratch, like Grab or whatever. It's all very important roles.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And by knowing and by knowing, at least if you know coding, right, then at least you know each other's
Yes.
expectations, really. Like if you get a UI UX person who do not know how to code, okay,
Yes.
then they'll give you ridiculous demands and this is the sky and the wind and ask you to design things like that, right?
I
And
saw.
then
I
that
saw it. Yeah.
yeah, and then from a from a project manager standpoint, right, it's like that is now maybe it is technically possible that will blow up the project by two years timeline, right? You wouldn't want
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes, that's correct. And I think today the market. So the people who learn technology, like Christopher, is a good example. He knows technology. He knows coding. He's obviously an engineering mind. But see, the beauty about tech and coding is you can apply it anywhere you go into finance. And the best staffs in any role, even the best developers, are always people who are able to integrate and synergize two different skill sets. That's what helps you stand out. And like in today's world, in Malaysia especially, a lot of our project managers are still quite unfortunately very non-tech savvy. Right? Imagine you're a software engineer and your project manager is not Christopher. Maybe it's someone else who doesn't know anything about tech, right? And you will struggle a lot. So right now, the demand for project managers who know technology is going up as well, like crazy. Like pretty much, if you know tech and you're a project manager, your salary will go up by probably 50% more than
Yeah.
someone who doesn't know IT, right?
Yeah, and
So
I definitely know real life cases. I have my IT folks who work with other teams coming back to me and complaining that their project managers don't know anything about tech and is just giving up very ridiculous demands.
yeah. Okay, so I think that I'll just wrap it up for now. I mean, let's open up to John, Wei Chi, and Jiawei. Do you guys have any questions?
Hey, thanks, Derek, for a great, good question up ahead. So, and yeah, awesome, awesome sharing session from Christopher. And I looking like what you've done before, like eKYC is like all this digital banking we were looking forward in Malaysia soon.
Mm.
Okay, so one of my question is like about Awin Tech. So basically, you just mentioned Awin Tech is like helping mapping out all the flow of these customer needs and do it in a software, right? So
Mm.
how do you like see it skillable for Awin Tech? Like let's say you right now you have like 10 customers, so you have like your team and working out for the customized software for the customer, right? So let's say you have 100 a day. So how do you see like this skillable in terms of for Awin Tech?
Okay, so I think there's going to be a few pillars, right? What you say is correct. So for Tech, okay, I think there'll be a few type of cases that we plan to help customer. So number one, I can just offer a process consulting service, right? Because you may have your in-house IT team ready, right? So you just need a process expert, and that's where I will offer standalone process services. Okay. Then the next thing is okay, but if you like the processes but you don't have an IT team to help you to execute it, or you just need speed to execute it, we can also help you to execute, because we have the IT people here who are well versed in it, okay, and who can execute it fast for you, right? Because now they have a process, they know how to read the processes, right? Okay, so I would say that this, because our main target market is SMEs. Okay, we don't. So I would think that most SMEs will have similar issues. Like most of their internal systems, I would guess, right, they will probably need proper audit trail, different user access metrics, report generation, dashboard viewing for data report. So I would think that there's going to be a lot of common features. Okay, so as time passes by, right? Okay, the consultants at our side won't need to do that much of the stuff, because as we build, we will try to make it modularized so that so that in the future, any company can just come in, say, hey, I want this feature, this feature, this feature, tick, 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 tick. They deploy it as a system for them to use.
Correct. Thanks. This answering my question. Yeah, and looking forward for the module for product or project management as well in Sigma School.
Definitely, Joey. Okay, John and Wei Chi, anything? By the way, hey, awesome stuff. Hey, Joey, very nice of you to come every Saturday. Very, very nice, very supportive. And I hope you enjoy these sessions. Put in a lot of time to drag Christopher and join me and everyone else. And really, these sessions are not here to, sell anything. It's really to let people like Christopher, because he's done all this for the past 3-4 years, right? He has a lot of knowledge. He wants to share it somewhere. And I think, Sigma School is where we are in the right market, where everyone's more tech savvy and we are looking into this direction as well. So we're going to invite people in product, in UI, UX, and software, data science to share things, right? And so you can learn something from them. All right. So, hey, John and Wei Chi, if you guys don't have any questions, are you guys okay if we just take a quick picture now? Hey, Christopher, stop your presentation so we can take a.
Okay.
John and Wei Chi, it'd be great if you guys can on your cameras.
Hey, sorry, not in good place to on my camera now, so sorry.
Hey, no worries.
But just a quick note, really good sharing. Thanks, Christopher.
Hey,
No
awesome,
problem,
Wei Chi.
Wei
No
Chi.
time never see you already, Wei Chi. So awesome to see you.
Yeah, been busy.
No
Then
worries.
now getting more free time already.
That's good. We are kicking start a lot of stuff again. So I think it'd be perfect if you start joining us again soon.
Yep, definitely.
And John, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, you good to on your camera, John?
My camera got problem right now. I don't think I can on.
No worries, like it's okay. If there's issues, it's fine. Then just 3 of us. No worries. But anyways, still thanks for joining. I'll take a picture now first. 3, 2, 1. Awesome, guys. Okay, done. I will upload the recording later on, and that's it, guys. Thanks for joining in. Hope you guys have a very good Saturday and good weekend. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, Christopher, as well for your sharing. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Derek and Christopher. Yeah, great sharing.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.